In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
And that's the first time I lost my pants in a public situation.
Certainly not the last.
Won't be. Hey guys, welcome back to another Pointless Automotive podcast.
Yes, I'm Frank.
I'm Chadwick still.
Yes,
This week we'll hold on to it.
Next week, who knows what the future holds.
Frank, what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about murder today?
Sort of. Let's talk about about what the future holds. Specifically for, and this is we're sort of hot off the heels. I guess by the time it's going to be sort of old news by the time this thing goes hits live and direct.
Yes. Probably 2 weeks behind.
The Hyundai Veloster and just got axed officially. Hyundai said, you know what, we're not gonna.
Should we recognize a moment of silence for that?
Happy.
Done.
So yeah, so the Veloster N is no more, and there's a lot of, we talked about before the STI got killed off, and there's a lot of stuff that's getting killed off, and it's falling by the wayside. And so I think some of it, and we'll talk about it, but I think we should talk about stuff that's getting killed off. That sucks, and we wish it wouldn't get killed off. But we're also going to talk about a bunch of stuff that probably should get killed off. That's available in the automotive marketplace right now.
Congrats for dying.
Exactly. So we might do that. We might pull out a scalpel and virtually excise some makes and models that are out there floating around. We can talk about that. We can maybe talk about some stuff that's just got killed off or is in the process of getting killed off, and we would hope would stick around.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll just go off on some tangents. Maybe we'll talk about, what we think probably will end up getting killed off that hasn't yet, and maybe we would like to stick around.
Yeah, can I just make a broad sweeping statement to start us off, man?
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Okay, here we go. I am going to sweep the leg, and then follow it with a crane kick. Mm-hmm. So the car, in general, is being killed off, as we know it.
It is. That sounds like some super, hyperbolic, extreme, right or left wing, media, this particular group is getting killed off, and rah.
Isn't that contemporary politics?
It is.
I did it, guys. I talked about politics. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. No, we did it. But yeah,
but honestly, I said
this, getting killed.
I texted you the other night, and I said, I for one embrace our new, crossover overlords.
Exactly. Yep.
Because cars are gone. Sedans and coupes are just going by the wayside. Everything's a version or flavor of crossover, right? Let's be honest. That's what the market leaders are in almost any class.
For sure. And it's funny that you say that because we just talked super briefly, hey, let's talk about this topic. Okay, and we don't really compare notes beforehand because we like to keep it pretty organic when we're usually spitballing here.
Write it 5 minutes before the show.
This is true, or during the show. But part of what I want to go on a little bit of a vignette here later on down the road about, pun intended, about exactly what you're talking about. But I think in a more focused, before we get on, that's kind of the umbrella here that we're operating under, right? It's there's stuff that's getting killed off for various reasons.
Is that going to be
crossovers are some of them?
That's going to be your coup d'etat at the end?
Sort of, yeah, mea culpa ultimately. But I think, we are multilingual here.
Yeah, well versed.
But what spurred this off was hey, that sucks about the Veloster N.
Super sucks.
How should we talk about this? So should we just start there, the Veloster N?
Yeah, I think that's the freshest one. It'll probably be 2 weeks fresh when you listen to this podcast.
Probably. Yeah, and do you I've never driven a Veloster any flavor. Have you driven a Veloster?
I drove a Veloster Turbo of the original. Okay. And it was automatic. It was kind of underwhelming. Yeah, that was was that a 1.6 turbo? I think they put that 1.6 turbo in everything. They still put that 1.6 turbo in everything. It's been it's been touched a little bit over time, but just like all of us.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Uncle, is that you?
I was gonna do a church thing, but
same deal. Do you remember that show Touched by an Angel? My dad always called it Touched by an Uncle. And that's to you, Dad.
It's a little close to home. But
so Veloster N, it's a cool car, especially on paper, right? It's kind of like the Neo CRX, I would say, is probably sort of what it was. If I remember when they first launched the OG Veloster, before they got the N, they got N to it, if I remember correctly, I feel like they said they were marketing it to compete with used vehicles. Hey, this is a new car we're going to put out. It's going to be at a lower price point.
Newer tech.
Sort of, but the original one was like not even that.
It's pretty smart.
It was pretty smart.
Yeah.
But it was like, hey, it's an inexpensive car. It's got this 3-door thing. It's a hatch. It's kind of unique in the state, but we're not building it to compete with another player in the space. We're building it to compete with like the used car market.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a really interesting way to do that, and it was interesting to watch that car evolve to the Veloster N, which is like, you know, like you can get it with like this like DSG transmission and highfalutin and in fun colors, and like by all reports, again, I've never driven one, but all reports are that it's a hilariously fun little car,
right?
And a lot of bang for your buck, which is why it sucks that it's going away. Because how often, I feel like every single episode, nearly, we talk about the death of the fun for your dollar.
Boy, yeah.
And so it sucks to see that car go away. My understanding is they're no longer selling it to concentrate on the Elantra N and the Kona N, which are purportedly fun cars in and of their own right.
Yeah, the Elantra N's probably going to be short-lived, right?
I hope not. I mean, probably, because that's what, right? We were just talking about sedans are going away.
Yeah. The Kona for sure will hang out a little longer.
Convertibles are going away. Wagons are going away. Although there's a little blip in the wagon space.
Minivans are going away, and I got a big one on my list.
Oh boy. Boy, there's some cool minivans that should have been built. I always wanted to build a Mazda Speed 5. How sick would that have been?
With a manual.
Yeah, absolutely.
It came with a manual.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But yeah, like, so should I just rattle off some stuff that's freshly killed or about to get?
Do you want to tennis match it or badminton it back and forth?
Oh, I'm stuff that's like actually factually being killed.
Oh, I've got some too.
Okay, so every Ford car.
It's been a while.
But it's been out there, but they said, hey, yeah, we're not doing cars anymore.
The call out for me for that is the Focus and Fiesta ST.
Yeah.
That was the big strike because we have waited, like, I've been a Ford fan for a while, and just seeing European Ford hot hatches has made me so, like, I was getting really ambitious. I was like, are we going to get one? There's all this talk. When the Focus ST was revealed, I went to the auto show in DC that year when they unveiled the car.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I want this so hard. And it was in that cool, like, orangey, yellow, whatever color.
Yep, sunburst, sort of, they call that.
So good, right? And then the Fiesta took my heart away. Just love the look of it. I think it looks better than the Focus. It was a cooler little package. It performed excellently. I owned one, absolutely loved it. And then as soon as we got it, we just a little flash in the pan, right? We got a little sample of that European hot hatch, and then they're gone. Boom, from our market anyway.
Yeah. I already mentioned the STI.
Oh,
that's gone. So
from our hearts, because that thing was unchanged pretty much from 2004, which was the first model year we got it here.
God, what else is gone or going?
That one's painful, man. That one's really painful. I put your beloved vehicles, the Durango SRT Hellcat and the Cherokee SRT8, are both going away.
Gone. And that's. Dude, I don't want to say for the better, but kind of.
Dude, like, for the Durango SRT Hellcat, I put Frank's beloved 700 horsepower blown Hemi SUV is dead.
I'd love to. I've never spent time in one. I'd love to.
I think you would love that, dude. I think it would.
Until I fill it up here in the Bay Area at $7 a gallon.
Right.
And then it's genuinely a suicide machine, giving like 9 miles a gallon.
So cool, though.
You know what else is gone? The Mazda 6. They've announced that the Mazda 6 is gone.
I saw that.
So no more Mazda 6, which, if you kind of trace the lineage back on that, because it was Mazda 6, before that it was the 626.
Right.
And it was kind of that all the way into like the late 70s.
Had a spicy version in the MX6.
The MX6 in two-door form. You had the MX6, and you had the 626 Coupe before that.
The MX6 was a lot like the Ford Pro.
Which kind of sucks because it's like, that was sort of the more fun, slightly more upscale competitor to the Camry and the Accord, although a tiny bit smaller.
Well, the Mazda
a little
3,
bit more sport.
The Mazda 3 has grown and it's very popular still.
It has.
But yeah,
but I'm worried about that car's future.
You know what the best 6
with
was?
Them making several compact SUVs at once.
Yeah, it'll be a crossover before you know it. It'll be gone too.
It was CX3 and
the 6 was cool, man. Let's think back. The Mazda Speed 6, this all-wheel drive, 274 horsepower, 6-speed manual only.
Yeah, what a cool little blip. That was when like Mazda Speed was a thing. And that was
everything.
A fun era.
Yeah, Mazda Speed 3s, Mazda Speed Miata, which I owned one of those.
Yeah, cool. What a time to be alive.
Turbo Miata from the factory.
What else is dead? What else is going away, my friend?
We're moving through this fast, man.
We are.
Near and dear to my heart also, Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
You could get the Heritage Edition.
I kind of get it.
Well, you don't want to buy a $90,000 to $100,000.
Well, that's the problem.
Toyota.
That's the problem, because that's where the Land Cruiser had gone here, at least in the American market. It was like the high-end flagship Toyota product.
I mean,
but I think what they should have done, instead of just eliminating the Land Cruiser, especially with how much gravitas that name has, and the fact that so many, like everybody wants to do the overlanding four-wheeling thing right now.
Sure.
Is I think they should have did what they've done with the Lexus, the LX 600, and have it be $90,000 to $130,000 or something insane. And instead of having the Land Cruiser be $85,000 to $105,000 because it's got leather and all these things, you keep all the same mechanicals, you keep all the heavy build quality and all that. And I know that stuff doesn't come cheap, but if you can then, maybe it's got a cloth interior and it has less of the ADAS stuff.
But it's never been like that. The Land Cruiser has always been like that.
It wasn't in the 80s. It was with the FJ60 and FJ62. It wasn't until the 80 series.
Well, yeah, the 100 series really put it.
And then the 100 series for sure.
Put it in
because you couldn't get cloth in 100 series, could you? You could in 80 series. I don't think
well, maybe overseas. I think
that's what I mean. Yeah. So they have those products like they have a cloth seat. It's on a shelf in Malaysia or something.
But it's just with inflation and everything, there's no way even switching to cloth is going to take that value down enough.
Well, it wouldn't make it a $50,000 rig, but if you made that a high $60,000 to high $70,000 truck, that's still $30,000 to $40,000 less expensive than the Lexus.
Which no one's buying.
They would. I mean, there's people spending almost $60,000 on a 4Runner.
Yeah, but
you go out and try and buy a 4Runner right now, which there's none in stock anywhere, and they're still going for $58,000 on a sticker, let alone the $80,000 on top.
Yeah, but you're talking like a school bus versus a minivan size comparison. I mean,
no, that's fair, but I think it would sell. I mean, how much is a fully spec'd TRD Sequoia right now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's big money.
Yeah, that's big money.
So I think if it's $10,000 more than a Sequoia, and
the Sequoia is always chops. But the Sequoia's always been the Land Cruiser without the off-road chops. That's what it is.
But now you just have more off-road chops and the Land Cruiser name, and I don't know. I think there was a way that they could have done it. Obviously, Toyota hires far more intelligent human beings than I am.
Right.
They're a company that kind of, they set a target and they hit it, and it usually ends up being the right call. So
I think fuel prices.
I'm sad that it's gone.
Fuel prices baking too. Yeah. Land Cruisers are never going to be a fuel economy minded vehicle.
Yeah, no, never has, never will. So I don't know.
I'm sad about it. The right call. We had the Heritage Edition last year, which was pretty cool, kind of like a parting shot. I thought the design looked cool. You could get it in some, I think a greenish color looked pretty
yeah, there's like that dark green, and they have like, I think all the Heritage ones like a black color.
Did they do two-tone on some of them?
They should.
I think they should. They should.
You can spend a couple thou on a wrap, and you can wrap the top.
Spend a couple $100 on a rattle can.
Yeah, just plasti dip your brand new Heritage.
There we go. Plasti dip.
You know what else is gone?
Huh.
The inexpensive BMW convertible, the 2 Series convertible. They've axed because you can only get it. Well, I mean, it's okay, but it's just another death of another convertible.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking about like what's the cheapest convertible you can get? Is it probably Miata and or Wrangler, like basic like postal service spec Wrangler?
I did not.
I don't know what a base 2 Series convertible was, but it wasn't obscenely expensive.
I didn't like how they looked.
Fair.
I wasn't a fan. To be fair, the 2 Series in general, no, I fear BMW.
I mean, the outgoing, like M2 Comp. Like if I was gonna buy a new BMW, probably that car, probably an M2 Comp, like the outgoing one.
Really? I mean,
yeah, the manual. Well, I guess the Comp.
A Z4 manual.
I don't think the Comp came with a manual one.
A Z4 manual would be pretty nice.
True. Once it shows up. Oh, is it here? It's here. It's just a Supra that's waiting on the manual.
Yeah, Z4 manual always has.
So yeah, 2 Series convertible is gone. You got anything else that's leaving us?
It's
so hard. Keep going. To say goodbye.
I mean, that's really it, right? Like,
to yesterday.
Oh, I've got one.
What's up?
Do you want to talk about positive things that died and we're okay with?
Sort of. Can I shout out?
Yeah,
let's do that. But before, two shout out ones. These two the deaths were coming, but what about the last the last true NA V12 Lamborghini, the Aventador.
Yeah, I saw that. It doesn't really impact my
does not impact my
social spheres, and
nor does the other one, the Polestar 1, because that was always going to be a limited edition thing. But I think that is a, if I had like under $200,000 to buy a brand new daily driver, and I could have a healthy warranty with it.
Yeah.
Polestar 1 is just such
a cool
car.
It's a tech platform.
It's a tech platform. That's why I demand a 800,000 mile warranty. But what I really am partial to that car.
Super
I think
cool.
it's like the ultimate like GT, soak up miles, reasonable gas mileage, throw the kid in the backseat's big enough, and take the kid with me. It just absolutely head turner. I wish I had better colors, but other than that,
yeah,
that's a car that like I think will always, if you manage to find one, be able to buy one like right now at sticker, let's say, I don't know about that. I think they're 155 or something.
Yeah.
So out of my league. But if I had one,
yeah, same as
that car will never be worth under $100,000 ever, unless everything melts into the ground.
Yeah. Well, here you go. This is going to be a little near and dear.
You go. That's long dead.
It never was alive, was it?
Yeah.
Not fully.
The GV.
So Dodge Caravan was killed in 2021. One of the longest running minivans, started off in the fine year of '84, where you could get some wood paneling and a dark blue.
That's right, 2.2 liter turbo with a manual.
So, yeah, long running nameplate, one of the longest running minivans is dead. Minivans in general.
You know what was even its stablemate that was a longer platform that got filled up a couple of years ago, the Chrysler Town and Country.
Pretty much the same architecture.
It was the same architecture, but that nameplate, the Town and Country, had been, I think, in the Chrysler stable since the 20s.
But not as a minivan.
Not always as a minivan.
The Caravan was like, I think the Caravan was one of the first minivans to punch itself onto the scene. It was
it's a prototypical minivan. It was the Ford Mustang of pony cars is the Caravan and Grand Caravan is the minivan.
So I wrote this in my notes, Frank. You're gonna love this. I wrote, minivans are dying off. Should we buy minivans? And I said, damn it, Frank already has one.
I already have a lifted yoke minivan, which I do need to sell. Maybe we'll discuss that in the PCP.
But should we buy? I really want like a Mitsubishi Expo.
The thing with the Expo is, I saw one, I think I sent you a link to it, there was the JDM version of that on Cars and Bids, I think, I don't know, it was maybe 4 months ago now. It was JDM, it was for sale in Modesto, it's I think a Virginia title, already imported. They don't call it the Expo there, they call it the, I don't remember, but they call it something else.
Yep.
And this was the Expo, slightly lifted, all-wheel drive, not factory, slightly lifted,
yep.
All-wheel drive, 4G63 manual,
super clean,
still had like the little like JDM seat doilies over the back of the seats and everything. I think it only went for like $8,500 or something.
That's ridiculous.
Which, oh boy, be still my heart. That would be an impossibly cool daily driver. Parts are a concern, but
yeah. Well, I sent you that link of that Mitsubishi Expo where someone swapped a 4G63 in it.
Well,
it just needed an ECU.
Yeah,
but still, cool. How cool would that be? How wild would that be?
That's what this car was though, from the factory though.
It had a 4G63.
Yeah, you're on the right hand side of the car. Yeah, 4G63. Turbo. Ready to go.
This one could be registered.
Let's get one. I'll keep one.
Well, probably
not.
You
just do the whole like
definitely not smog.
We need to form a Montana LLC, my friend.
Speaking of Montana, was it the Pontiac Montana?
Everything's bigger in Montana.
What was the
remember those commercials where there was the
Transport? The Transport. The old one.
Well, the Montana was also the minivan.
Right.
The Montana was the Chevy Uplander. Was the Pontiac Montana, was it the Buick Rainier?
Oh, I think so.
Which was also the, I don't know, there were a bunch of,
damn it, we should get some obscure minivans.
The Relay, the Saturn Relay, was the Saturn, they had a Saturn version.
Same as the Pontiac GM platform, yep.
That's what it was.
Dude, we need to buy some obscure minivans.
I mean, I think
you're a mainstream. Get out of here with your lifted Sienna.
I am too mainstream, bro. But I think the king of that would be, you get the turbo manual Caravan back to your
How cool would that be?
Your Caravan
with wood paneling.
Wood paneling, turbo, 5-speed,
blue velour,
with like a 3-foot shifter because it's like a flat floor.
The blue velour interior.
Blue velour, and then they had the 4-wheel. The later they had the 4-wheel drive. I don't know if you can get the all-wheel drive with the manual. But you can get the all-wheel drive.
Selectable 4-wheel drive, right?
I think it was just full-time. I think
really?
It was full-time.
It wasn't a 2-wheel drive, push-a-button 4-wheel drive?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not up on my.
We need to get up on
Voyager spec sheets.
Oh God, he went with one of the clones.
The long dead one. Yeah, it's a shame they never made an Eagle.
They made an Eagle.
They never made it. I don't think they did.
Are you sure?
You had the closest thing was you had the Eagle Vision, which was the same as the Expo, right?
The Vision was an Intrepid.
Or not the Vision. They had what was the Eagle Summit? Because the Eagle Summit was the Mitsubishi Expo clone. I'm telling you, bro. Eagle Summit. But I don't think they ever made an Eagle. I don't think there was ever an Eagle minivan. Boy. So what else? And we're talking things that should come back, or that should have never left us, because that did leave us.
They made the Summit minivan.
I don't think it's a true minivan. I think
it's a Summit wagon.
It's an Expo.
It looks like a goddamn minivan.
It's an Expo. It has one sliding door, so I just have a minivan.
That counts.
Okay. But it's a minivan.
It's probably both winners for knowing this horrible stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We're winning or we're losing. There's no middle ground. I haven't figured out which side of the coin we've landed on yet. So that's gone. So that's gone. Minivan futures.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That is the.
Why aren't more people?
Think about it. That's kind of Mopar's Land Cruiser.
It is, and on top of that, that design hadn't changed from like 08. We complained about the 370Z. That Caravan was old.
Right.
As shit.
Yeah. That was like the Frontier, really.
Oh.
The Nissan
Frontier. That's right. Well, Nissan everything.
Well, sure. Nissan in general. We still
have you seen a new Sentra? Sentras are like the size, like bigger than the old Maximas.
No, I assume they're like modern Civic size.
No, it's big.
Bigger. Oh boy.
It looks huge.
Oh boy. Well, I mean the Nissan Versa Note has filled the subcompact.
True.
Niche.
Can I hit you one more time, buddy?
Hit me, baby, one more
With
time.
With a long-running name that's gone. This is back in 2020 was the last one built. Chevy Impala.
Yeah, the Impala's always kind of come and gone now.
I know, but it's gone.
It's gone.
It ain't coming back. You think that's coming back?
I don't think so.
Maybe
it'll come back as like an electric plug-in crossover.
The Impala.
Exactly. Olive edition.
No, but like that's interesting enough. I mean, I was never like the older Impalas were cool. The SS in the mid '90s was super cool.
Yeah.
After that,
other than that, it was
after that,
no. I will shed no tears for the loss.
Yeah.
Of the Chevy Impala. You know what's dead, and zero people will give a damn. Well, Fiat in general. But do you remember the Fiat 500L?
Oh, it was so horrible.
Truly a terrible,
ugly looking vehicle. When I see one, I'm still like, God! Like that person must have got a deal.
I can't imagine a scenario where one purposely buys one of those.
I feel like you're in the market.
I mean, there's got to be like 11 people globally that are like think it's the most pretty car on the road.
What are you in the market for? Like a small minivan crossover kind of weird combination thing
hatchback
with questionable reliability. Let me get you a Fiat L.
So you're basically calling it the new Eagle Summit.
I mean, no, the Eagle Summit's way cooler.
Yeah, I had Mitsubishi running gear. This was the Fiat 100. So does Fiat even? I'm not up on my Fiat. Can you buy a new Fiat today? Do they have it on the 2022
500s?
No, the 500's been gone for I think since like 2019. I think maybe 2020. You can't buy the 500. The 500L is now I think 21 was the last year. Mercifully, because that thing was an unmitigated nightmare. I see, I think in 2020, so not even the last year, they sold like less than 500.
I always wanted a 124 Abarth.
Sure.
But they got really expensive.
But those are gone now, right? You can't. They don't do the 124 anymore, right?
No, but the used. Well, it's a Fiata, right?
Correct.
It's basically a Miata. But I always wanted one. I thought they looked awesome. I like the bigger headlights, made it more diminutive size. You could get the little 1.4 turbo.
Yeah, it's definitely more interesting. It's got a little different flair to it.
I mean, it is a Miata.
But you can't get that. Do they still have what was the compact crossover? Was it the 500X? I think.
Dude, they had the 500E, not to be confused with Mercedes.
Correct. Yeah,
two different animals.
I like how they just like 500 did everything.
Yeah.
So they had the 500L, which is a nightmare, and then they had the X, which was like plastic clad, like compact roundy SUV.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a Countryman, like a mini Countryman.
Sort of, yeah.
They failed.
Yeah, sort of, yeah, like a kind of. I don't even know if you can get that anymore. Is Fiat just officially? Are they going to disappear for another 30 years, like the 80s?
And someone will buy them out and hopefully bring it back.
Right. So. Yeah, here's the thing. If the 500X is still around, you need to die.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The 500L did just die, and it was probably 4 years too late.
No one mourned that loss.
Not even Fiat.
You want to hear something a little edgy? We'll keep it Italian.
Let's keep it. Let's edge our brains out. What's going on?
The Alfa Romeo 4C.
Is it still in production?
2021 was the death.
Okay.
So just recently. What are your takes on the 4C, my friend? I
think it's incredibly cool. I've never spent any time in one. You know, it's a carbon tub, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Is it perfect? I don't think it is. Like, I wish it came with a manual, but it doesn't. So, you know, whatever. That's kind of modern day living, is just like regret of a lack of a manual.
Sure.
So that's not a huge surprise, but I think it looks great. I've heard one. They sound cool. What are they going for nowadays?
A little bit. They're going for a little coin. I'm going to say I'm not going to miss it because,
oh boy,
you casually dismiss this, but a lightweight sports car needs to have a damn manual. Like, how is that not an option on that car? Right? Like, the auto is okay in it. Also, the fact it was heavier than it should be for having a carbon tub. So I thought this thing was going to come out and be a Lotus Elise fighter.
So I found a 16 4C on CarMax of all places. Just real quick while we're talking. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the price?
I saw.
You saw it? Okay.
Yeah, that's about what I was going to say.
51,000.
I was going to say mid-40s.
33,000 miles, which feels like a lot for a 4C. I don't know. I don't know if that's a drivable. Here's one for 54 with 28K in Bedford, Oregon.
It's sort of a little more than I
There's a black one with some god awful like script on the windshield. One for 55. So yeah, we're talking low to mid 50s.
Yeah, for me.
4C.
But see, I thought this was going to come out and compete with the Elise, and it didn't.
Right.
It didn't at all.
No, I mean, are you surprised by that though? The Elise is such a special car.
I'm surprised.
To truly compete with it.
I am honestly surprised they didn't drop a freaking proper manual gearbox in there.
Fair.
Right? Like, doesn't that change the game? If this thing was offered with a manual, it would actually be...
Here's the thing. It sounds like it's so pretty though. I mean, it's not super, super pretty, but like it's so pretty in a unique way that like it will always garner positive attention, I think.
I don't think it does have positive attention. I don't think it's recognized as a sports car. The handling doesn't deliver because it's heavier.
Maybe not by like journalists and stuff, but like if you were to show up anywhere in one of these, people are like, holy crap, that's a 4C.
Dude, but it's
not. How do you like that car?
This will never be.
Can I drive it?
No, it'll never be a GT car. So you need to get away from the fact that you don't. Correct. You need to have a manual option. If it's a non-GT, if it's a sports car, lightweight sports car, it needs to have a manual gearbox to be an enthusiast. I'm not talking about journalists. I'm talking about enthusiasts. If you want to weekend blast this thing, are you going to be happy with the Chrysler supplied automatic transmission?
Well, it's not. It's a dual clutch, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a dual clutch. Okay. Which is better. You have to admit, a dual clutch is better than like your 5-speed swampy.
It isn't, so you have to fix it and it costs more than you want to pay for like a new car.
Well, then you have no business looking at it off to begin with.
Look, if it had a 6-speed manual, dude, it would be fixed.
It would be better.
That would fix the 4C.
It would be better. Does it mean
it's
that
a
this car
is sports car? It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any. No.
I understand. However, I'm happy that it exists.
Remember when Porsche went PDK is superior in every way to manual? What did they end up doing? Going back to manual options.
Well, because they like money. They like money.
How's that Alpha 4C sales doing? Oh wait, it's dead. It's dead, Frank.
It is dead, and I don't think that's because of the. I don't think that's because of a lack of a manual. I don't think.
I think it's a player. I think that's a reason. I think the car should have been more lightweight. I think the car should have been more focused for enthusiast use. All the reviews, go back and watch actual track testing.
Sure.
It doesn't hang like it should be. This is an Italian sports car. This isn't a GT car.
I'm always wary of like a car not making it in the marketplace because of track times. I think that's a fallacy.
Okay, driving in the canyons or driving spiritedly, this thing should still hang for what it. This is what it's meant to.
No, I understand, but I think
this isn't a quadrifold.
If you're looking to sell cars, I think a manual. The numbers trend the other way almost regardless of car. If you're looking at new cars, whether it's a new Corvette or 911 or whatever, the automatic or dual clutches, they outsell the manuals. And I would much prefer to have this car with a manual. No bones about that.
But
I think it would have been more fun, and it would have been more. I don't know if it would have been significantly more successful.
The chassis isn't as stiff as it should be. It's an Italian sports car.
Sure, which means it's going to be heavily flawed. It's got the Alpha badge on it.
Yeah, but they know how to make a proper sports car. But they know how to make a proper sports car, is what I'm saying. There's some Italian sports cars that are just phenomenal, and this is supposed to be that new coming back lightweight sports car.
Correct. Instead of this being an Alfa Romeo 4C, if this was a new edition of the MR2, and this was a Toyota product with a DSG, and it looked the same, and everything was the same, the exception of it had a Toyota badge on it, and it was Toyota, and it was sold through a Toyota dealership network instead of Alfa Romeo. Even with the lack of a manual transmission, I think it would have sold leaps and bounds more, because people wouldn't have been afraid of. It would have sold. Some people would have not bought it because it wasn't an Italian
the badge. Are you saying just the badge?
The badge and the pedigree, and the fear of like right now, if you have to go like service your if you live in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Okay, bad example.
That's a bad example. It's funny up there, Reno.
Well, not even that. Just you're not driving this thing in the snow. But let's say you
challenge
live,
accepted.
Whatever. Let's say you live up the coast. Let's say you live in San Luis Obispo. Okay. Good weather. You drive the car all the time. You gotta get your car serviced, right?
Yeah.
You can take it to a Toyota dealership, or you gotta figure out an Alfa Romeo dealership that's attached to a Jeep dealership, or who knows. Yeah, it's a much more daunting.
I'm gonna say it again. Like I'm not sad that this car went away. I think this car has the looks. I think it has the sound. I think everything else is very good, but I think like the chassis dynamics was not there, and I think lack of a manual gearbox was not there. This is supposed to be a lightweight, fun sports car.
Sure.
I think those are check boxes you got to hit, man. And I think a lot of people aren't sad or surprised that the 4C went away.
At what price point? This one here, there's 33,000 miles, bright screaming red, looks like a good car. 51,000 miles is the price on it. At what price point would you buy one of these at?
I was going to say mid-40s.
Okay.
Is probably makes sense. If these are offered a manual, I bet you'd see 20K more.
Probably the ones with the manuals on the used market would command a premium.
That's what I'm saying.
Always do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I bet it would be a lot more fun.
Sure.
Because it's not the fastest car. Yeah. This is a lightweight sports car. This isn't like an Aventador. It's not going to like destroy things in a race. It's going to be a fun car to drive.
I want to drive one.
Huh?
I want to get my hands on one. I want to drive one.
Yeah, but I bet you're going to say, oh, I wish I had a manual gearbox.
Sure. But I bet I also, if I ran it 40 miles up and 40 miles down on the PCH, up in the twisties like Mendocino Coast, I'd be like, yeah, it would have been cool, but damn it, it's still a lot of fun. I think it would still be an awful lot of fun.
I think so, but I think it loses a lot of points for those demerits.
They are demerits.
Big demerits.
They are demerits, but I think it'd still be a riot. Plus, it looks good.
I'm not sad. I'm not sad, Frank.
You shouldn't be sad. What I'm trying to think of other stuff that has died recently or about to die. How about do you have any other ones, or do we want to talk about what are we okay with dying? Well, I already kind of crossed. Or either okay with dying, or what do we think is gonna die soon? Maybe we're not even okay with dying. That hasn't been announced. It's gonna die.
Buick's gonna die.
Buick is announced. Did you hear?
I saw the EV.
So we're just hot off the heels of recording a few weeks ago, recording the Saving Buick episode.
Right.
And I believe in there I was like, oh yeah, like I don't, the boring thing would just be like, oh, we're gonna go all EV, and that's like not creative, and then like literally like 24 hours later, Buick comes out after we recorded that and announced that they're going all EV. Ooh, all EV lineup, and that's
well, no one reached out to me how to save the company, so I'm just gonna assume. Do you want me to be very forward right now about Buick?
Forward, Uber.
Magic 8 Ball.
Oh, deciding its fate?
Yep. You ready? So we're
ready.
gonna ask the Magic 8 Ball.
Dear 8 Ball.
Is Buick? Let's say 5 years. I think 5 years or fewer.
How about this? Will they be dead as a brand and no longer sold in North America before 2030?
That's fine. Yeah. Let's see it.
What do you say?
Magic 8 Ball. What do you think? 2030.
2030.
R.I.P. Without a doubt.
Oh boy. Sorry, Buick fans.
Honesty,
the 8 Ball has spoken.
So Buick will be off the table by 2030.
Definitely.
I can see that happening.
Definitely. You know what's another one I can see? Is actually, if we're talking about just terrible lineups and moribund brands.
We usually
have you looked at what have you looked at Chrysler's lineup lately, my friend? They have 2 vehicles in their lineup.
Enthusiastically, no.
They have 2 vehicles in their lineup, and both of them are like comically old. One is the ever-present Chrysler 300.
Yes.
Which when did they refresh that? Was that like 2011 or something?
No, they had a little bit of a. I mean, they've had facelifts.
I should say. Are these? How about this? Are they still off the base, the same base What was that called? The Delta platform? What did they call that?
I think it's a modified platform. It's a modified same version of that platform, though.
Which goes all the way back. Even that original one was a modified version of the W210 E-Series chassis.
That's right.
That was designed in the early 90s.
I think the 300 is still popular in Europe, though.
Big in Europe? Well, I mean big if true. But that's one of those things where it's like, you've got the ghost of the Chrysler 300.
Yep.
And you have the Chrysler Pacifica, which is the ghost of the Chrysler Town & Country.
Well, here's the thing: is the Pacifica now?
You get that plug-in hybrid, bro.
Well, it occupies the Caravan space.
It does.
Can't get rid of it now.
It does. So are you saying the Caravan truly was the Land Cruiser from Mopar, and then the holdover is the LC 600, which is the Pacifica,
or the LX 600?
Sorry, yes, the LX.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
600. So I think Chrysler is not, as a brand, is not long for this world. I do not see them going all EV. I do not see them making another 300 and then doing a 200 or a Sebring.
Are we going to save Chrysler? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to have to. We're going to do a shaving Chrysler.
Bring back the Sebring.
I don't see them. Should we give them the 8-ball treatment too?
Wow.
Will Chrysler
say 2030?
Will Chrysler at 2030? Will Chrysler be an individual brand that you can purchase?
The 8-ball's pretty damn accurate.
Yes, they will be a brand that you can purchase in 2030.
So we gotta get.
I don't know. I think we might be hot on the heels of some sort of economic bad juju, and so I think much like we lost Pontiac and we lost Oldsmobile and we lost Hummer and we lost Mercury back in 08, 9, 10
Pontiac.
Era. Yeah, Pontiac. Saab. Anyone else? Mercure. No, before that. Sterling. No. I don't know. I fear for some of those brands.
The 8-ball said Chrysler is not going to go away, my friend. So
okay. Well,
rest assured.
They are soon going to
buy stock.
They're soon just like yeah.
Stonks.
Stonks. You know what I think is an individual, and that I sadly think will die. And the writing was on the wall the moment it launched. But it's a very impressive car, and I would love to get one on the used market. Lexus LC500. I don't think an LC500 is long for this world, and that's a shame.
Because it's a naturally aspirated V8?
In a coupe.
A big chunk of that
with a big price tag on it.
God, they're beautiful.
Coupes.
They're beautiful. They sound great.
They sound great. They look great.
Who would have pegged? How about we go back 20 years?
Did you say pegged?
Yeah, I did.
Carry on.
Yeah, so after we get done pegging.
Nope.
Who would have pegged Lexus to be the dealer or the brand that would keep a naturally aspirated V8 car in the market? I mean, they do put cassette players in their cars.
That's what I mean. They kind of hold on to old tininess. You know, we like to giggle about like the Buicks and the Cadillacs of the world being like the old people brand.
Sure.
But really, that's kind of been Lexus for a long time, because
Lexus does cater, but I mean their tech is right there.
When did the LC the LC came out? Was it 18? I think.
I'd say 5 years ago.
2018. Who was launching a fresh, full-size, luxury V8 powered coupe?
You want an answer?
2018.
Mother effing Lexus.
That's it. Everyone else was killing theirs off or moving into like hybrid power plants, which of course they do. You can get the hybrid version that 0 people bought.
Yeah.
But as much as I like that car, it's great. I think it is not long for this world. If that makes it to 2025, I will be beyond 2025 as a model. I will be color me shocked.
They came in some great colors too. I mean, it's
very good colors.
Good color palette.
Interior and exterior.
The exterior's gorgeous. Or the interior is absolutely gorgeous.
Everything about that car is pretty. Is there anything else you think is gonna die?
That should die,
or both. Or both.
I can see
gonna die.
Unfortunately, I can see Mitsubishi going away by 2030. Should we confirm that with the? This is a very doomsday prepper based.
The only thing with Mitsubishi is they've got the influx of Nissan ownership.
Money. I think it'll just get swept away.
Which is Nissan is not exactly they're not exactly flush with cash.
Well, no longer bankrupt, right? Right. So that's a plus.
So you giving Mitsubishi to 2030?
Yeah, let's say 2030. Mitsubishi, will they be gone, written off the face of this earth, brushed under the Nissan umbrella? 8-ball says. Outlook not so good.
Oh boy. Okay. So no guarantees.
Come on, Outlander, you got this.
Yeah. Woo!
I saw an Eclipse Cross the other day. I think
That's
it's like,
unfortunate.
yeah, it was like one of the first I've seen in a while. And I just wanted to corner the owner and be like, I have some life questions.
Should we hit up, whoever media personnel over at Mitsubishi and
Dude, no,
see if we can get our hands on the
it's some intern that's working.
That's okay. He'll be blow the dust off his computer and cobwebs and then moths will fly off because he got an inbound media inquiry about a new Mitsubishi product. and somebody, oh my god, and they'll have to ship it over from wherever they're building Mitsubishi products now because they don't have anything in their press fleet. But
exactly.
You know what I think? I'll just fire some off. I know we're kind of getting short on time, but you know what I think is going to relatively die soon? I think the Camaro. I don't think the Camaro is going to go too much longer. I think we're getting towards. I think there's a few more years left in that product. I do not see a full-on refresh Camaro. Okay. I don't see it happening, and I'm not counting some we're gonna get a plug-in hybrid crossover and call it the Camaro.
So not like a Mach-E play,
but a fast two-door coupe Camaro. I think we are at the end of that era, and much like we lost the Camaro after 2002, I think we're going to lose it again shortly after 2022. I think we're at the end of the road for Camaro.
Damn fine comeback though.
Yeah.
Went from Catfish, came back, Transformer style. Yeah. And it's since been respected. I mean, the Z28, I think, really gave it the first performance chops. Yeah. If you guys look at the prices on those things.
You've got the ZL1.
Then the ZL1 with the supercharger, but that Z28 was like the first track-focused one. Yeah. And it's super expensive still. ZL1, and then you had the SS, the 1LE packages are still very capable cars.
What's cool is you can get the 4-banger with the 1LE package.
Exactly.
So you can get whatever. Are those they're 300 horsepower, right? The
turbo? Yeah. Well, the V6 was the same deal. Yeah. People were buying the
4-cylinder turbo, this big engine bay, little motor in it, and then the 1LE, 1LE track package and all that. And it's supposed to be a pretty potent package.
Yeah, exactly. And good price point.
I think the Camaro's going to go away.
Yeah,
what do you think else is going to go away? Anything else is going to go away?
I mean, what else do we have? All cars. We'll probably be in
all cars. Well, we're all going to go away because the meteor is going to strike.
Well, yeah.
Shortly. You know what I think is also
sweet release of death.
I think we're going to hit a little bit of an economic bump, and I think all of these EV vaporware startup companies are going to go away. You've got you've got Nikola and Aptera and Canoe and all these weird niche. They're basically, I don't want to call them a pyramid scheme, but they're just getting all these VC funds and you want to buy? We're going to be the new Tesla, and we've got Electromechanica and all these weird one. Do you remember the what was that thing called? The Sparrow, the Corbin Sparrow.
That's right.
Little one-seater, two-seater electric commuter cars, and it's powered by solar. NFTs run the alternator and just stupid
To be
crap.
True though, I mean once the big automakers start playing with electric,
and we're right
and they
there.
start getting they have the money to throw into these deals for the better batteries, and you start doubling the range of these smaller guys, it's game over.
Yeah, and you've got a true charging network.
Yeah, and it's
which is a long time coming. That's not going to be tomorrow. It's not over the course of the summer. However, when you've got this little EV startup that you've got bros coming in and putting money into.
Equally impactful would be sourcing the batteries in a wholesome fashion where it's not destroying a culture.
Literally child slavery.
Literally destroying a culture, and it's not creating a ton of pollution.
Right.
That's going to be a game changer.
Faraday future.
It's happening, man. Yeah. It's so once the big guy, you know how it goes. Cool, thanks for bringing this tech to the main stage. We'll take it from here.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's that. The only other one is, and I said it with the Camaro, unless it comes back as a crossover. I think we're pretty much right there for the death of all coupes. I think there will be zero coupes, zero convertibles.
The sedan, dude. The sedan.
So here's the thing. Right now, sedans and wagons for the folks like you and I are cool, right? There's plenty of cool sedans. Well, to you and me. To our parents, to the boomer generation, the only thing that was cool was coupes and convertibles. And then you saw that in the early 2000s with the muscle car stuff and all those powerful coupes and convertibles were pulling all the money.
Yeah.
And now, for our generation, now that we got coined, if you're in your 30s, 40s, early 50s, the cool stuff for us is sedans and wagons, because there was not this stigma for the boomer generation, for lack of a better way to put it, The stigma for them was like sedans are lame, wagons are lame.
Sure.
You have a Tri-5 Chevy, oh, it's a sedan, it's not worth anything. It's a coupe, it's worth all the money in the world. We grew up with like M5s and
That's
E55s.
what I was going to say. So it's almost ironic that we had like sports sedans, like the rise of the sports sedan, like you said, M5s, and then like newer things like the Chevy SS or the G8 GXP. These are cool freaking things, man. What? And it's
so, but that's the thing. So you have a 5-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. They're going to grow up with sedans and coupes and convertibles. Well, our wagons being dead.
Our kids are going to grow up.
They're going to grow up lusting over
that we think are way cooler than they are.
Well, that's what we think. But I think they're going to be like, oh, you've got that. What is it? The SVJ F pace,
whatever.
Or whatever. You're going to have all these like hot crossovers and hot SUVs. Like we currently have a stigma about crossovers and how crossovers suck and how they're a compromise and how they aren't interesting. Just like our parents' generation, like sedans, wagons, they're a compromise, they're not interesting, they're not cool.
Right.
I think we're gonna be the boomer generation next and be like, crossovers, man, when like all the kids are like, bro, I've got like a 2015 Macan Turbo S, and it's like, oh my god, those are super rare, and it's like this thing to lust after.
Sure, yeah.
Just like we're lusting after, you know, E36 M3 sedans with a manual.
Right. Yep.
So it's really interesting to see how that's going. So I think everything that's going to die, everything but crossovers and probably even it'll get to the point where it's all EVs and kids only want EVs and it's like
just in these electric eggs that follow a conveyor belt.
Exactly, but like it's wrapped in this sick NFT.
Oh, bro.
That I own the rights to.
Yeah.
And there's there's just 3-dimensional like helix floating like QR code above it that like takes you right to my like implanted brain social media account.
Right. That's some dark. What is it? Black Mirror.
It is definitely. It is the blackest.
Well, no one wants to drive in the future anyway, so fuck cars.
If we're gonna do that, could we spend a second and go instead of looking towards the future?
Do we have time?
And our overlords? Can we instead go to the past and quiz you?
We can go back to where they printed.
Correct.
Advertisements?
Yeah, it was this weird thing. It was on like the cellulose media.
So basically a former plant, right? I believe they deceased a plant.
They did. They speaking of green technologies, and I'm going to turn my little laptop away so you cannot
get your ad up and I'll go over the rules here. Yes. So what we actually do is we look up old automotive print ads. We do look them up on the interweb, so it's kind of like a little. It's a little I wish we still had the prints. I still have a little binder at home. I threw all my old magazines away, just like my old adult magazines. But
that's true. No, they're under your bed.
Sacrifices were made. You can't get to half the pages.
Yeah, but stuff to the carpet.
Yeah, it's so weird how that works. Yeah. So we go through 80s, 90s, early 2000s. We read the ad, omitting anything that gives the vehicle away. Frank is the quiz-e this time.
We get MC today.
Yeah, he gets 3 guesses. Every time I will give him a hint if I think he's worthy of it. And he has to arrive basically at the vehicle we're talking about. So today it's going to be me.
You are the guesser.
Yeah.
I will be reading you.
Yeah, you're the quiz master.
The quiz master, yes.
I really hope I can get it. Frank is known for tripping me up here, so we'll see what he's got.
Okay, so this has probably the bottom 80% of this 2-page fold of the ad. Angel is a centerfold. Is the car. It appears to be in black, but it's so dramatically lit in like magentas and oranges and reds and yellows that it's a little bit hard to tell. Okay. The headlights are on. It's the driver's side, like front, not quite quarter, but more like front 1/8.
Okay.
See the front and the grille. And then it has a big yellow print. It says, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." Blank. We've tuned a mild-mannered economy car into one of the fastest production cars in the world. This little Hummer contains the same high-output 2.2 engine we introduced in our blank. And now it's available with a Garrett turbocharged engine that'll increase its horsepower by a whopping 32%. So it snuffs performers like Volkswagen's GTI and Chevy's Z28 with a 0 to 50 mile per hour time of 5.75 seconds. Not 5.7, not 5.8, 5.75. or less, with an asterisk, I don't know what the asterisk goes, and gets back from 50 to 0 in an incredible 2.38 seconds. We're going seconds, not feet.
Oh, that's good.
Blank also handles corners with super fast 14-to-1 steering, special suspension, and new, bigger rear brakes inside of new 15-inch cast aluminum wheels. Blank's new front air dam and sill spoilers are intimidating too, until you discover that Blank costs about $1,000 less than GTI. All this is covered by our famous 5-year, 50,000-mile warranty, and by Aura, that is making Blank the world's newest cult car. For information about joining the blah 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 performance club and about adding even meaner off-road Blank parts, write to the address below. You have to write.
I think it means off-road for like track, right? It doesn't mean...
Presumably. I will leave that up to you. Off-road Blank parts. You can buy or lease the Blank at your local Blank dealer. You can even take it out for a test drive. But never, never take it home to meet Mom. Chadwick.
Dude.
I gave you some good information to work with.
I'm sorry, just real recap.
Yes.
You didn't mention if it was a coupe, sedan, or hatch, right?
I did not mention its overall
door config.
Makeup. Yeah.
Okay, so a couple big things, takeaways for me. Mm-hmm. That 2.2 liter turbo is definitely Mopar or no car in my mind.
Potentially.
So fastest production car, that's a bold statement. Didn't it say that? Fastest production car?
One of the fastest production cars
that
in the
loses
world.
some of its magic.
Yeah.
All right.
It's one of the top 250 fastest production cars in the world.
Somebody called it fast once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. This is tough, but there's so many of those cars that got the 2.2. I mean, I had the Daytona, there was the Charger, the Omni. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take a shot at this, and this was one of the fastest cars when it came out with that engine.
Okay.
And it actually...
If this is correct.
If it's correct.
Yeah.
But it did also unseat the old sleeper champion, the show, for 0 to 60 time.
Okay.
You ready for this?
I'm ready. Y'all ready for
I'm
this?
gonna fire. First shot.
Yes.
Dodge Spirit RT. Final answer.
Excellent guess, my friend. However, that is incorrect. It is not the Dodge Spirit RT. You said RT, right?
That's correct.
Okay. It is not the Dodge Spirit RT. How can I give you a hint here? You are correct on the engine.
Yeah, I know that.
You've got the engine there.
That part.
Trying to think of a way.
What kind of...
You've got the door count right. I'll give you that.
2, but what configuration?
It was not 2.
Huh?
Was the Spirit 2?
I believe so.
Because they did make... I thought they did it in a 4-door. I thought the RT was a 4-door.
Maybe.
Because they made a Spirit... I will give you... It has 4... It has 4 doors.
Okay. Good
Lord.
Lord.
It has 4 doors. It has 4 doors.
It has 4 doors.
It has 4 doors. I'm not going to... No other hints as far as how those doors are constructed, or if there's a hatch or a wagon or a sedan or a whatever. But it has 4 doors on the sides.
I think I'm going to be at a loss because the Charger was 2-door. Mm-hmm. The Daytona was 2-door only.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The Laser was 2-door only.
Correct.
That was the Chrysler version.
Correct.
The Omni was 2-door only. No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Was the Omni couldn't have been a 4. Maybe no. I don't think the Omni was 4-door. Black though, jeez.
Black. With its 15-inch chrome, or not chrome, sorry. Just 15-inch cast aluminum wheels.
I mean, it could be an black.
Black.
Has some did it have some pretty impressive detail or decals on it? Can't reveal that.
I don't know if they're super impressive. I mean, they're scripting, but there's not.
Yeah.
At least in this particular one here.
Well, the one I'm thinking of always had someone's name on it. They had a Shadow CSX, right? How do I know these obscure Mopars? I think it was the Shadow CSX, but I think the Shadow...
Maybe the Spirit was the 2-door and the Shadow was the 4-door? Maybe that's what I was thinking?
Is the Shadow the 4-door?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because the Shadow CSX was basically the same as all the other ones.
Right.
Had the 2.2. I don't think that's it. Oh, but it did have CSX decals. I'm just gonna run out of 2.2 guesses. I'm gonna have to ask for something specific. Fuck. Okay, let's go for it. I'm gonna go Shadow CSX.
It is not the Shadow CSX. I'll give you. So I blanked out when I said Volkswagen's GTI and Chevy's Z28 as far as competition. I blanked out the years. Okay. The years of both of those.
That probably isn't going to help me.
Is 1984.
Yeah, that's not going to help me.
So the 1984 GTI and Chevy's 1984 Z28, it beat to 50 miles per hour. What else can I give you that won't completely give it away? Give it away now.
You got to give it to your Mopar. This is tough. So yeah, 4-door.
It is a Dodge.
Yes.
Right, so it's not a Plymouth.
That's not
it's not a Chrysler. It is a Dodge.
Both the cars I've guessed are Dodge.
I also excised the word Shelby in a lot of this. However, the vehicle itself does not have any Shelby badging or anything, and it doesn't call it the Shelby.
Yeah, but they all had Shelby associated with them.
But like the wheels are saying are Shelby cast aluminum wheels. And earlier they compared it the same output as our Shelby Charger. So it's not the Shelby Charger. If the 4-doors didn't give that away. So it drops a lot of Shelby in here, but the vehicle itself does not have Shelby in the name.
Definitely not a Colt. They never made a hot Colt, right?
I don't think so.
Not really.
Not Dodge. Mitsubishi there was, but it wasn't that hot, I don't think.
Yeah. Dude, how am I blanking on this?
Buckle up for safety. I'm trying to read the...
I mean, 2.2 liter turbo. I mean, they jammed it into everything. And at that time, it was only making 142 horsepower or something like that.
Well, I don't know. Apparently it makes 32% more because of the Garrett turbocharger.
But it's in the 80s. The 84.
Yeah, mid-80s, because they were comparing it to 84. So I don't know if the specific one is 84 or 2.2 liter. Competing with the GTI and the Z28 somehow.
Yeah, that's weird.
Turbocharged.
Well, the Daytona competed with the Z28 Mustang GT.
New front air dam. And sill spoilers are intimidating too. Until you discover that it costs about $1,000 less than a GTI.
I mean, maybe it's a hatch. Maybe it... I thought Omnis were 2-door though.
Oh.
Forget, it's my last guess. Let's go Dodge Omni GLH. Final answer.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. Omni GLH. She turns a mild-mannered economy car into one of the fastest production cars in the world.
Good thing I didn't say GLHS.
Right, because again, no Shelby. The S was the Shelby.
I always thought they were 2-doors, but they were 4-doors.
It was a four-door hatch.
God dang it, it didn't.
Yes.
Well, no, because Shelby still did the GLHs.
They did the GLHS.
No, the S just stands for some more.
It was some more, but it was also Shelby.
I think he did the GLHs too, didn't he? He did some stuff.
He did, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So
I forgot they were 4-door. That's what I was blanking on.
Yeah, it's tricky. And I couldn't tell you it was a hatch because that was a complete giveaway.
Yeah. Damn it. Well, we got there. I was going to guess every 2.2 liter Mopar car at the time.
There's what, maybe 7 of these left in the nation?
Good luck finding them. I almost bought a ratted out one, a GLHS, not too long ago.
That's a cool car.
Sold short on.
Yep.
God, they look cool. And that's what black, I was thinking black because they almost all came in black.
With the air dam, with the pinstriping, and you can barely see in the corner of that the GLH. Everything was hinging on the 2.2 turbo. And then I thought, the fact that it was competing with GTI and it kept dropping GTI in there.
Yeah, that's right. The door count actually threw me off when you said 4-door.
Well, sure.
Because I was going to guess Omni's second guess.
Yeah, because then you could have even gotten a Lancer turbo.
That's what I was thinking.
They had a bunch of weird variants.
But the Lancer turbo was kind of a dog.
Yeah, wasn't it? I think its hottest iteration was 150.
Well, we got there. We struggled. We should celebrate the struggle with some hard recreational drugs.
Yes.
Really quick.
P to the C to the P.
Really quick doses of PCP this week.
Yeah. We'll hustle through these. You want to go first?
No, you go ahead. You want to?
Okay.
You sure?
I will keep this relatively brief. Not boxers, but brief. The Grand Vitara, gone. We talked about that last week. I have supplanted it with the 2001 Chevy Suburban 1500 C71. It is black over gray leather. Ooh. Interior's pretty clean. There's a couple of minor splits in the driver's seat, just because the leather's dry, but otherwise it's good. Cold AC, engine sounds great, transmission sounds great.
Nice.
The tires are completely gone. They're old and they're completely worn. So I'm gonna have to put a set of tires on it. I think I mentioned briefly before I haven't gotten to figure it out what's going on with the driver's window. I don't know if it's the switch or the regulator. Good news, both parts are cheap and available. All the other windows go up and down just fine. Other than the tires, which are probably the most costly thing, the only other thing I need to do is the ABS light and the brake warning lights are on. I plugged a fancy pants OBD2 scanner into it, and I was able to fish into the brake control module and pull some measurements out of it. So sitting there at idle, it seems to think it's going 2 miles per hour at all wheels, in park, just sitting there. So
that's the thing.
The easy thing would have been if like one sensor was like reading implausible or no reading or something. Okay, I've got a bad speed sensor, not that big deal. $11 later, hopefully the nut isn't frozen on there and I can back the bolt out. It's not rusty. Swap it out, plug it in, done. But it's not going to be bad.
Don't strip that bolt.
Because there's a 0% chance all wheels happen to be failing at 2. So it's got to be modular. It's got to be modular.
100%.
It's got to be modular. So I did a little internet homework. Internet homework tells me it's a fairly common fail point on those. There's a couple of solder joints within the module itself that fails over time. And so I might try my hand at like refloating the solder. Okay. The module, pull the module apart, get in there, do my thing. People say it usually works. So I'm going to try that.
Good price point.
If I can't do that, then I can there's some companies that can send it out for $150 to $200, have it rebuilt, send it back. Or probably they just take it as core and make me another one. Great.
Sounds good.
And I'm hoping that's it. The only rub is apparently they say, oh, hey, if you start getting this, pull the fuse for the ABS so you don't burn your modulator out.
That makes sense.
You don't burn the motor in your ABS modulator out. Because what happened? Well, I've never heard the motor running on this modulator at all. And I haven't checked the fuses, but I doubt that Joe Blow that had this before me did that, pulled the fuse. But I said, oh, there's a check engine, it's weird, whatever, and they kept driving. So I'm hoping I don't have to put a whole modulator in there as well.
Hope not, man.
Cheap thing is I spend $5 in solder, and I refloat the solders in the module, put it back together, and I'm off to the races.
Hope so.
That would be ideal. Second place would be $150 on a new module, rebuild module. Third place is I'm in another several $100s, and then I got to do a bleeding and all that things. So we will see. But at a $2,800 price point, it's got 191,000 miles. It was a one-owner car.
Okay, you got some room to play.
Black, yeah, it's black in color. It's got all the things. It's got the proper wheels on it. It's good. It'll tow 8,000 pounds, which is more than what I need.
Sure.
And at $2,800, I bought in well. If I need to get out from under it, if I fix some of the things, I can probably sell for $45.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And get out of jail relatively free.
Cool, man. Congrats on landing that.
And then the last quick thing is, I think I might do a dance with the devil, and I might try some block seal on the Sienna.
Oh boy.
Because it's still doing the same thing. However, I drove it like 400 miles in the past week. And it'll use only a little bit of coolant, but it is still using a little coolant. And I don't want to poison my cat by perpetually burning glycol through it. And it's something that needs to be addressed. And so I might try the tried and true Blue Devil brand or one of those like the higher end block seal. Because for something like this, it's not a blown half gasket, it's using coolant somewhere. I might try my hand at it. The motor's got 233,000 miles. I'm not pulling ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm gonna try that, and I don't like doing that, but I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, just give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl, and we'll see. What about you, my friend?
I'll do a quick hit here for time brevity.
So passive left. Inside.
So Mustang GT. I'm working on my buddy's '89 Mustang GT. It's got a lot of modifications, like really the best modifications. A lot of BBK stuff. A lot of really good Ford racing stuff.
BBC stuff.
You would know, man.
ABC?
No, BBK is a really good provider for aftermarket parts for Fox bodies. So he's got all the right mods. The problem with this car is he's had it for a very long time, and I'm following multiple mechanics.
Sure.
Multiple mechanics that didn't fix the problem and that replaced parts for no reason. So like I got a list of about 10 sensors that a mechanic just replaced for totally unrelated to the issue. The car's running rich all of a sudden, right? So every sensor has been swapped out. And what we're talking about here is not just your usual little sensors. We had an ECU that was most likely a original Cobra ECU
Okay.
Ford Racing, of course, and that was exchanged for an AutoZone.
Did he turn that Ford ECU? Did he just core return it for like $12?
Core returned it for a AutoZone special.
He got in his zone. He shouldn't have.
So here's the thing. Good luck sourcing one of those. And it was just caps leaking like old ECUs do.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's part of the problem is I'm trying to source this thing, and I'm going through old receipts, 10 years of receipts, and I'm seeing like what's done. This thing has built heads. This thing has who knows what injectors it has. It has an aftermarket intake. I mean, it's got the Cobra intake manifold.
Yep.
It's rough. This is a really hard job. So I've been sluicing through it. It's challenging, man. So I got to get it running right? So I think the first thing is, I think it is the ECU. I think the ECU has an issue.
Okay.
Because the ECU was recently replaced, as were the heads. I think at one time it had the GT40 heads.
Was the ECU replaced to try and solve this problem?
Yep.
So the problem existed before the ECU?
The problem existed before all these sensors were replaced.
Sure.
So now we're like trying to make up the difference. And the thing is, I don't have the original sensors to test. So one of the things I like to do is swap out and swap back a sensor. Right. I don't replace parts. I don't throw parts at problems. So it is a huge can of worms, like you said. And on top of that, I'm trying to put the mystery of this car together because this is a 1989. He's had it for over 10 years, like I said. So like I'm putting receipts. I'm going through receipts and figuring out what modification.
And you know, each one of those sensors is like a different. Like one's a Denso sensor, one's an NTK sensor, one is a whatever.
Blank Best or whatever the AutoZone cheapest sensor.
Yeah, you're lucky if they're like NTK and
yeah, they're probably not.
They're probably
not.
Yeah. Awesome power.
And the thing is, this is a modified car, so like already it was probably held together with a tuned ECU and the right accompanying fuel mods. So it had a high pressure fuel pump at one point by Ford Racing. That has been swapped out with a parts store brand fuel pump. So now we're effed. The adjustable fuel pressure regulator replaced with a regular fuel pressure regulator from AutoZone. So it's like
that could be it right there.
Any of those things I named.
Yeah.
Right? So the problem is I'm not going to throw parts at it again because those things get pricey, like a fuel pressure, you know. And
does it run rich under
all
conditions?
the time? The spark plugs are soaked in fuel in black, and the car pours.
So it's not
black
rich.
smoke.
It's just like straight.
It's dumping fuel.
Yeah.
So it's going to be something. It's going to be. I guarantee it's a combination of all those things I named and the ECU. But we'll get there. I want to build it right for him. So it's really just a mystery game before I spend money and labor. Right, so it's in the research phase, but that's what I'm doing with guys. So don't just throw parts at a problem. It makes life so hard.
Yeah, especially just mishmash dollar store.
Oh, do not do that. Yeah. Especially sensors. Sensors I try to stay OEM with.
You have to be sensitive.
You know, like MAF sensors, OEM please. Things like that.
So that's like just super quick on the same front. So the that 633 that I'm helping with the guys at my car donation client get back on the road, it's been this nightmare of like perpetually running ridge. Kind of a similar deal, except anything more than like half throttle, and then once it gets like
bog stall,
it'll barely hard. It's super hard to even like not even hot start. Like if it's been running more than 4 minutes idling, you can't restart it. They put I thought it was air fuel meter, and we sent it one to get rebuilt. Okay, well that one's getting rebuilt. Let's try like the $100 Cardone rebuilt one from down the street. Plug in and look at it, and it's like, oh, it didn't work. Same deal. And they look at it afterwards. It's got Ford stamped in the plastic cover on it, and we're putting it in an '83 BMW 6 Series. I'm like, it literally says Ford, but the part number says. Nope. So they just got like a core from a Ford and rebuilt it, and quote unquote rebuilt it.
Oh boy.
From somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and slapping it. It's just. Aftermarket parts are fine, it's just got to be the right ones.
Yeah, do your research. Someone else has failed with it before. But yeah, sorry guys, running long here, so let's close it out.
Always running long.
Thanks for stopping by and checking out the podcast.
Thanks again. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following us all the things. If you're watching us via this camera over here, that's on the YouTube. That's Another Pointless Automotive Podcast on YouTube. We are at APA Podcast on Instagram. I personally am at The Photographer's Garage on Instagram and the YouTube if you want to see what I'm up to. Chadwick, where are you if they see what you're doing?
Auto Obsessive Garage. You can check out my YouTube. All kinds of fun stuff on there.
Yep.
Thanks again, guys, for stopping by. Check us out.
We're going to eat pizza. It's going to be fabulous.
Take care, guys.
Bye.